Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Let's have a look at Paradox, and then this was not the video I was initially going to use to show the clear. I got my first time clear with an all-Pierce team with the no wind, but the last time I went through, just for kicks, I brought Satan Alpha through. But, you know, it might be useful to look at this to see how bounce characters perform in here, and also look at how characters without no wind also perform. So we'll look at this video instead. I also just love Satan Alpha, so yeah, I get to show him off here. But first stage, we want to get rid of the guys on the sides. They will kind of improve the weak point of the Senpuga in the middle. And then, if we look along the bottom of the screen, we kind of see like a splashing effect. That's a gigantic laser that's coming out the bottom. And if you don't have no wind, you'll be drawn down there and then get hit by that laser. So that really kind of limits the characters you can bring in here. It only comes out from the third turn on, so if you bring your characters without no wind in the first or second slot, they can escape that laser. A lot of people like to bring Orpheus in here because he's a Pierce with the Water Slayer. So if you wanted to do that, maybe put him in the second slot. And then there's a new gimmick here where your characters that are not acting will become blocks. So there I use them to cover up the speed down panels and then just kind of go back and forth between the two and then get the concentrated damage on the Senpuga. And then here, the marble guy, Michelangelo I think it is, they're just here to do damage to us, so we don't need to worry about them too much. The garbage girls, however, they will hit us with one-hit KOs, so we want to get rid of them as soon as we can. And then on this stage, it's one of the few stages where maybe bounce characters have an advantage. They can pinch in between the pairs and then take down the guys like we just saw with Satan Alpha. But there are the sling style change panels. We can also use that to change our Pierce to bounce and then, you know, get the concentrated damage in that way. So here are the garbage girls again. We want to take them down first, and then they have the skull and crossbones marks on them. So we'll get a counter effect once we take them both down, which again is the improvement of the weak point. And then we see the weak point there on Paradox. But after having used Satan Alpha in here, even though it's kind of off-center, the weak point, I don't think it actually extends to the end of the boss's hitbox. So bounce characters can't hit it with direct attacks, and then also a bump combo like Satan's homing will also not hit that weak point. So that's kind of a major disadvantage that bounce characters have in here. But yeah, we just take down the garbage girls as they come out, and then we try to do some concentrated damage on the boss. If we have the full screen open to us and we do like a perfect up and down or left and right with a Pierce character, we can do some damage, but not a lot. It's when you can kind of create like a small space with your other characters, preferably right next to the boss, so you're just kind of stuck within the boss going back and forth. Then you can do a lot of good damage to the boss. To talk about the team that I'm using real quick, first is Satan Alpha. He is a bounce with no null ability, but he has Water Slayer, Weak Point Slayer, Gozetsu Slayer. So yeah, two of those Slayers will work in here. Again, the weak point is not going to matter here for bounce characters. Okay, Battle 4, again we want to take down the garbage girls, and then as we can see there are no weak points in this stage. All of these stages, they kind of function differently regarding how we do damage to the boss. Okay, so here let's use Satan Alpha's strike shot, charges up in 8 turns, and then gives him immunity to the mines, which is very important. So we're able to take down the one Michelangelo. We did some damage to the boss. And we'll take down the other garbage girl. And then, this time on this stage, it will have the effect of defense down on the boss. So now we can do some better damage against him. And then my second and fourth character are Gabrielle Ascension, and then she's maybe the best character for this quest here. Okay, and then next, the second round of Michelangelos come out, and then they create a space where we can pinch in between them and the boss. So with Pierce characters, we can hit the sling style change panel and then get stuck in there, or with bounce characters, we can just go straight for that and then do good damage on the boss. And then that mini-boss on that stage has a lot of HP, and it might be difficult just to get that with Pierce shots. So you might want to use strike shots if you're getting pretty close to the one-hit KO attack. Okay, and then this is kind of a rest stage. But we can hit the sling-style panel to pinch in between the guys, just like in Yamato Takeru. But, you know, if we don't pinch every time, that's not a big deal. If we have strong enough bump combos, we can just, you know, keep doing damage every turn, and then we'll eventually take down everybody. This stage is not too hard. It's funny, though, when your own characters, like, block the way, because they become solid. Okay, and then my third character is Sen no Rikyu. And then she was maybe the best character the first time Paradox came around, until Gabrielle came out later. But I think she's like a Minesweeper M or L, and then she has the Null Wind, of course, so she's pretty perfect for this quest. Okay, first boss stage, we can see weak points here. So we'll take down the Garbage Girls, and then the weak point efficacy will be improved on the boss, so definitely want to get rid of the Garbage Girls. And then Sen no Rikyu, she has a tackle strike shot. That does pretty good damage against the boss, actually. You'll want to wait until the weak point is improved or until the defense is lowered. And then Flag Jr., the max luck that I'm using here, he also has a tackle strike shot. Maybe that's better used for taking down little guys, like the Garbage Girls, if there's just like one turn left. And then the healing from Flag Jr.'s tackle strike shot is pretty high. It's at least a third of your life bar. So it's like a Tsukuyomi level. That's really, really good for a drop monster. And then Gabrielle, she has a meteor strike shot. I would actually save it to do concentrated damage on the boss, rather than use it to take down lots of guys in one turn. Just the boss has so much HP that you really want to concentrate as much damage on it when you have good chances. Okay, but we got through the first boss stage. And then on some of the boss stages, the boss will move around. So like if you have guys in great position as blocks, maybe the boss will move and then kind of ruin that positioning. So you have to be flexible when you're playing this mission. Okay, here too we see some Michelangelos and a Garbage Girl. We don't see any of the skull and crossbones, but there is that kind of condition here. So we do want to take down the Michelangelos. I don't think there is space here where we can pinch in between the Michelangelos and the boss. It might just be that one mini-boss stage. Okay, so the boss has the defense down. Here the Garbage Girl does not have the skull and crossbones, so there will be no counter effect once we take her down. But still we want to take her down because of the one-hit KO. But there are the sling style change panels, so if we become a bounce, we can get in between the wall and the boss and then do good damage there, just like we did with Satan Alpha. So yeah, there are some places where bounce characters have an advantage, but I don't know. I don't know if it's enough to really recommend using bounce characters in here. If you were to use one, it would be Satan Alpha, just because he's so strong. But yeah, him being able to go to both water Gozetsu is pretty amazing. I'm really, really happy that I have him. Okay, last stage, we have the 2 garbage girls, and then we have an image of the boss. They all have the skull and crossbones mark on them, so we want to take them down. But once we get rid of the garbage girls, the weak point will be improved on the image, so we can go after him. And then the image is making the boss intangible, so we can't really do damage to the boss until we get rid of this image. There, I was really hoping to take down the image with Satan Alpha's attack. But this image also has a ton of HP, so it might take you multiple turns to get rid of him. Okay, but the real boss is tangible now. Does have the defense down, so we can do some damage there. But if we take down the garbage girls, the weak point efficacy will be improved. So now the boss has both the defense down and the weak point improved, so now we can start to do some real damage. And then here I like to use Gabriel's strike shot. Try to get as many hits in the weak point as possible. Okay, here let's use Satan Alpha's strike shot. Unfortunately, again, we don't really have access to the boss's weak point. But still decent damage. I'll take it. And then one more Gabriel strike shot, and that will do it. Okay, and that was Paradox. And I like this stage. It's been a while since I've really enjoyed like a high-level quest. First ones that come to mind are like Devadatta, Akasha, maybe Armageddon, those kinds of quests. But in all of those, you use bounce characters. So yeah, again, for me to like a quest that is Pierce heavy is kind of unusual. But yeah, to farm the quest, I'm going to sub out Satan Alpha for Flag Jr. and just go through with a all Pierce team. But if you're as big a fan of Satan Alpha as I am, then I can recommend you take him through here. Okay, good luck with that quest, and we'll see you again. Take care.